Hey there, this is Emerald Seat, and I'm making a video on The Elder Scrolls III Morrowind. This video is for people who want to get back into the game, and also just for a few pointers to show you the ropes, how to get started, and also to make the game a much more enjoyable experience. I find that this game is extremely grating on people who are used to more modern games. What you have to understand going into Morrowind is that it is a dice-throwing tabletop RPG, essentially. And the biggest complaint I get is, the game is too hard, or I'll run up to something and I'll swing my weapon and miss 1,000 times. And that really aggravates me because all it takes is like 5 seconds of reading and you will have a good time. Seriously, I'll show you that it's extremely easy to create a character, and I'm going to show you the most easy mode character that you could possibly make. But it is extremely easy to make a character that will succeed, and that will make it much easier to explore this awesome game without really worrying about really stupid bullshit like people not wanting to talk to you, or missing with your weapons all the time. And it really depends on what kind of playstyle you want to go through. The cool thing about this is that you can grow your skills however you want, and leveling up isn't going to change things too crazily in this game. But I'll show you. Watch. Okay. First of all, let's get out of this guy's way. Also, there's plenty of mods for Morrowind. I actually don't like doing the overhaul mods, because honestly, I think it makes it look worse. It's like going back and playing any game from your childhood, and expecting it to look like a modern game. That's just not fair. You should take, this game is beautiful. It's an amazing game. It defined my childhood, and I think it should just be left alone, honestly. Except, I am pretty excited about Skywind. I'm sure many of you out there are excited about Skywind. If you've never heard of that up until now, look it up, because fuck, that's exciting. That's fucking exciting. Okay, there's really 3 options here, okay? You can go a stealth build, which in Morrowind is not for the faint of heart. Seriously. Oh look, and there's our buddy back there. I'll introduce you to him later. This sneaking is not for the faint of heart. If you want to do a stealth rogue type of build, it's not. I'm not saying that it can't be done, because I'm going to show you how this is done. But I would say if you want to have a really good time, and if you're new or you're just getting back into the game, I would recommend that you go with either a magic build or a fighting build. So this is the most important 10 minutes of the entire game. If you want to enjoy Morrowind, this is the most important 10 minutes. Now, I'm going to just show you a fighter, right? Okay. Go with, you have to play off of the race's strengths, right? You have to play off of each race's strengths. So, for example, orcs and nords and redguards are really good fighters. If you want to make a fighter character, go with these, right? And also pay attention to your specials, right? So, in this, I'll make a nord, right? Now, you have to pay attention to what kind of stuff you get with a nord. First of all, you get a magic spell that does 25 frost damage on touch, which is really cool. Just right off the bat, you get like a mid-tier magic spell, which is cool. You get a mid-tier shield too, and you get resist shock and resist frost, right? And then over here is also really important, right? To pay attention to what kind of weapons you're going to be using for your class, right? it's like the problem that I see people doing is that they'll pick like a Argonian, and then they'll make the Argonian and build a character that's like a Nord for an Argonian. And it's not saying that you can't do that, because I do that all the time. I love Argonians, and they're like my favorite race. It's just, it makes it more difficult. You're going to have a harder time unless you build a character that is, you know, that works with these skills, right? So for example, I'm going to make a super easy Nord. I'm going to make him look, you know, awesome. Let's see. With the bear paw, I want the bear paw. Okay. And I don't know, he can be bald. Yeah, he looks mighty awesome. Okay. See, I just got taller there. That's funny.
You'll fit right in. Follow me up to the office and they'll finish your release.
Alright. So, this next part is also extremely important.
Yes, we've been expecting you. You'll have to be recorded before you're officially released. There are a few ways we can do this, and the choice is yours.
Now, if you go into this with a role-playing mindset, go with the questions or pick from the class list, right? Like if you want to pick a class. But the list of classes usually doesn't have things that will make a perfect character, right? And especially the answering the questions, it's going to give you a class that likely will not work well with your race, right? Unless you're good at role-playing the race. So, fill out the form yourself, right? Create a custom class. It doesn't matter what this is called. Totally doesn't matter. I'm just laying out the book references. Okay, so if you remember the Nord's special skills, it was things like heavy armor, medium armor, axe, blunt weapon, stuff like that, right? Well, I happen to know that those attributes that work with those two are strength and endurance, right? That's all. You'll get a bonus to these two attributes by picking these two, and it also combos with the skills that are good for the Nord. So, just lay on the, you know, the stuff that goes well with your class. Heavy armor, medium armor, axe. Long blade is good just because you're going to come across good items in the game while you're like dungeon tromping, and you're going to want a variety. Like, you don't want to be stuck with just one weapon. So pick a few weapons. I like axe, long blade, and blunt for Nords. All right. Okay, so I believe that's gotten rid of the that's done the most. That's the most basic for the major skills. The minor skills are things that you want to boost just to cover the bases, right? Because yes, the character I'm making is going to be an extremely awesome fighter. It's going to be an awesome fighter. But you want to fill in the gaps of things that you're going to want to do in the game to make the game easier. Now, you could fill in a couple magic, although I just wouldn't recommend it. If you want to do magic at all, and I recommend that you do, but choose a Breton or a High Elf and go magic, right? Because Morrowind does not really give you the opportunity to half-ass magic. Well, it does, but it just makes it painful in-game, especially for people who are new. So what I like to do is fill in things that I know I'm going to be doing a lot, like picking locks. So I do security, right? I know I'm going to be picking lots of chests and stuff when I go searching around in caves and dungeons. So pick security. Pick block. Block is always good. I don't know when I'm going to be using a shield, or if I'm going to be using a shield. It's unlikely, but it's still good to have, right? Another good thing to have is mercantile and speechcraft, right? Because you're going to be talking, essentially how much people like you in Morrowind really just affects how well of a game that you're going to be having. So make sure to have mercantile and speechcraft pretty much no matter what race you are, right? This is just my interpretation. Of course, you don't have to do that. And the last skill is really up to you. I would say, you know, you could go with acrobatics, perhaps unarmored, but I wouldn't do that unless you're a mage. Restoration, if those kind of spells you want to be using. I think I might just do athletics. That's fine.
Very
Okay.
good. The letter that preceded you mentioned you were born under a certain
Now,
sign.
last but not least, your sign. Now, for this class that I've made, there's really just 2 signs. Every single one of these are useful, but some of them are less useful for warriors than others. Like, of course, you don't want to go shadow as a warrior. You don't want to do Atronach. Actually, there's a really popular fan build, like where people will do Atronach, right? And I really don't like that playstyle because it relies on you doing like Amzavi interventions and, you know, doing every time you run out of mana, which is just bullshit. I just hate it. But that's just me. As a fighter, Lady is really good, especially since you're a dirty Outlander, a Sowit, an Enwa. So the more people like you, the better. So Lady's a really, really good choice. Not only because it gives you personality, 25 points into your personality attribute, but it also gives you a permanent 25 boost to your endurance, which is one of our major attributes for our character, right? Which will make our starting health huge. I think it'll start at like 60, right? Another one you could do is warrior. Another one you could do is tower, because you get this lock. It's up to you though. I mean, I would go with Lady just to really flesh out your attributes and make you just a badass. Everybody will love you. You're going to get good prices no matter what merchant you go to. So it's just, Lady is an all-around good bet for someone who's not going into magic or stealth, right? Okay, sorry, I've been extremely long-winded, but this was the most important part. Now, for the rest of the video, I'm just going to display to you how, why I'm right? Okay. So, at the start of every game, a good thing to do is just to loot this room. I know it sounds stupid or something like, but honestly this will pay for your first 3 or 4 sets of armor. So I always take everything in this room. You think it might be a waste of time? A lot of people skip past this room without even thinking about it. And this is the only time I do this. Usually, like, you're going to pass by forks and cups and all that bullshit and never pick it up. Because it's really beneath you. But there's also another room that has, especially if you're going into alchemy, and I'll just show it just to, I'm sure many of you already know, but this room down here has a lot of alchemical ingredients, usually in the down here, right? This is all good stuff that you can use to make potions to get yourself started in alchemy. So that's just a good thing to keep in mind. And another, to display the importance of having security no matter what character you are, so that you can get into locks, like you just saw there. If you want to save that attribute and not get security, you can always just get the tower attribute. But if you can see, my stamina is huge, my starting health is massive. I can carry 300 at the start, 300 weight at the start of the game. That's just madness, right? You talk to him and get your package, right? Package. Now we'll go to our buddy over here, Fangoth, and give him his ring. There's 2 reasons why. First of all, because it makes the merchant like you more. And when the merchant likes you more, he gives you better prices, right? And second reason, you'll get that ring back if you follow the quest for Hurskar upstairs, and I'll show you that too. Alright, so just sell all of this shit. And I'll show you... oh, we want that. Just trying to rush through it. Okay, so as you can see, I'm getting 450 gold right off the bat, and because of our mercantile skill, we can get a little bit more. And see how much he likes me? That's not only because of my personality attribute that was added because of the lady, but it also has to do with the quest for Fangoth to give him his ring. Normally, if you don't have that much of a high personality, it'll be around 80, but that's still really good, right? So, like I said, it will get you the first few pieces of armor, right? I usually go with the Nordic, and I usually go with medium armor to start, because I don't want to be too encumbered. If I get all of this iron shit, I'm going to be walking around like I'm not going to be able to walk, you know? I'm going to be very slow. And I like being fast, so.
Keep moving.
I didn't get a weapon on purpose because I'm going to show you back here. There's a nice axe that you can just start the game out with. And seriously, this is easy mode. This character that I've shown you how to make is easy as it gets. It really does not get easier than this. Alright, so we've got our axe. Okay. And I'll just get this thing over here too. Just whop, whop. Okay. So now to display as we go out to the dead tax collector, I'll display to you the benefits and how I'm not gonna miss, or if I do miss, I'm still gonna be able to kill pretty much every low-level creature that I come across in one hit. And that'll show you that really most of these complaints that I see about Morrowind and how you believe, see that, how you believe that the game is bad because you miss. I think you're just making the mistake that you're making a bad character. You're not reading well and not following, you know, you're not building it like an RPG character. You're not really digging deep, right? If that's the right word. No, it's not. That is not the right word. Take all of that, put on some more attractive clothing, because I don't like the prisoner clothing. This is better. It's blue. Head back, and that's essentially shown you the start to a really good character, right? You have a weapon that works, armor that works, nothing that you fight is going to be difficult, if I can manage to hit this guy. And like I said, yes, you may still miss, and people don't like that. I mean, people just don't like that game design where I walk up right up to a monster and I miss 3 or 4 times. But I also have to insist upon the fact that this game is built upon dice rolls. And if you're playing any tabletop, if you have any experience playing tabletop RPGs, you can roll and not pass the check to hit something if you roll your hit. And I can rest out here because I've disabled the expansion. So, but I'm just going to display how easy it is to, you know, in combat with this character build. I'm not going to have any issues. Right? I have no issues whatsoever. Maybe I'll take the... No, I don't need light armor. That's redonkulous. This guy down here is a pain in the ass. He's actually pretty tough. So what I like to do is just kind of dodge. The one really cool thing about enemy NPC mages is that they have limited mana, just like you do. And so this shit would normally wreck you, depending on how well of a character you've made. But normally his spells would wreck the shit out of you, or at least it would bring you down very far, right? But all you have to do is dodge his spells and wait for his mana to run out. I'm not going to kill the slaves, because that's just an asshole thing to do. She has throwing stars, so you want to get close to her really quickly. Die. Okay. And there you go. I've displayed to you, first of all, how to get I didn't even do the other quests. I didn't finish the 2 quests in the town that you start in Sidanin. The 2 quests being Hariskar recovering lost gold, and you don't have to give him the other half. You can just keep the 300 gold. And finishing the murder of Priscillus Vitellis or whatever, the tax collector, and get 500 gold. So essentially I've shown you how to create a powerful level 1 character within 10 minutes having 10 to 15 minutes having roughly 2,000 gold that you can then go get is the best gear that you can possibly get. You can go on to Balmora and get good shit, join the Fighters Guild and have a good time, or join House Lalu or whatever you want to do. Redoran. I wouldn't suggest Telvanni unless you're a mage character. But I hope this was enlightening to some of you. Thank you, and good day.